Yo book nerds! Today I'm going to give you guys a grad school update. I have finished my spring semester and I had taken 3 classes. If you want to know more about those classes, you can go check out my other updates. But basically I had 3 classes this semester. I had 2 communications classes and 1 English class. I took effective listening, teaching and coaching methods, which is actually a speech class. Even though it doesn't sound like it. And then I had teaching English literature, grades 5 through 12. So those were my 3 classes, and I'm happy to say that I got all A's in my classes this semester. That makes me so happy because my streak continues. I have not gotten below an A- since junior high. So obviously getting a B would be fine, but I'm so happy that I am continuing this role that I'm on. I hope that it keeps going. So now that those classes are over and done with, I'm going to talk to you about the summer classes that I'm going to be taking. There are 2 summer sessions and I have classes in both of them. The first session goes from May 15th to June 16th. And I have 1 class for that, and it is a communications class. It is interpersonal communications. There are no books for this class. And so it should be fairly easy for this first session. When I had originally signed up for my summer classes, I thought I was going to have another class in the first session. That's what it said online. And I have a picture to prove it, but there was some kind of glitch. And the 2 other classes I have are both English classes, and they're both in the second session, which kind of sucks for me because they are both literature classes and there's a lot of reading for both of them. So my second session, which runs from June 20th to July 21st, is going to be insane. So the class that I thought was in session 1 is called The World Novel, and I have 6 books for this class. And I talked to the professor and nobody knows what happened and why that glitched. But yeah, that is actually in the second session. And so the 6 books that I have for this class are all novels. And so since I will be reading them cover to cover, they're not textbooks, I will be counting them towards my Goodreads goals for the year. And so that at least is nice. I don't count textbooks just because I don't read them cover to cover. At least very rarely do I read them cover to cover. There's lots of jumping around, there's lots of skimming, etc., etc. So since I am reading these books from cover to cover and they're not textbooks, I will be counting them towards my goals for the year. So I'm going to quickly run through the books that I have for the world novel. A Small Place by Jamaica Kincaid. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that name incorrectly. I don't really know anything about this book or about any of the books that I'm going to be reading. I've never heard of any of them, so they're all brand new to me. A Cafecito Story, El Cuento del Cafecito by Julia Alvarez, I'm not sure how she pronounces her name. This book is pretty cool because it is in English and Spanish. Gun Island by Amitav Ghosh. Sorry again for any mispronunciations. Oil on Water by Helen Havila. This one sounds pretty interesting to me. It sounds kind of like a thriller. I'm not quite sure, but I think this one will be fun to read. House of Many Gods by Kiana Davenport. The Swan Book by Alexis Wright. I don't know anything about this one either. The second literature class that I'm taking in that second session is called Teaching Literature in the Middle School, and I actually have 13 books for this. It's 12 novels and 1 textbook. So the 1 textbook that I have is The Book Whisperer, Awakening the Inner Reader in Every Child by Donald Miller. Since this is a textbook, I won't be counting this reading towards my Goodreads goals for the year. Then for the novels, I have Akata Witch by Nnedi Okorafor. Again, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing anything. Some of these names are challenging for me. Zenobia July by Lisa Bunker. The Last Mapmaker by Christina Soontornvat. They Called Us Enemy by George Takei. Indian No More by Charlene Willing McManus. Free Lunch by Rex Ogle. Ancestor Approved, Intertribal Stories for Kids This doesn't have an author listed, but it was edited by Cynthia Litich Smith. Maisie Chen's Last Chance by Lisa Yee. Free Water by Amina Lukman Dawson. Seen and Unseen, what Dorothea Lange, Toyo Miyate, and Ansel Adams's photographs reveal about the Japanese American incarceration by Elizabeth Partridge and Lauren Tamaki. Again, sorry for any mispronunciations. They Call Me Widow, A Border Kids Poems by David Bowles. Class Act by Jerry Craft. So those are all the books that I need to read for class. Since those two classes don't start until June 20th, I have decided to start reading some of those books ahead of time so I can kind of get a jump on it, and then I'm not so overwhelmed by all of these books once I get into those classes, because I would have never planned 2 high-level literature classes at the same time on purpose. I mean, I'll basically be reading 3 books a week, which for me is really impossible because I just can't read that fast, and I have a newborn, and yeah, it's not going to work. So I am trying to read as many of these books ahead of time as possible. Most of these books are standalones. There are some that I'm reading for class that are part of series. If I have time, I'm going to try and sneak in some of those other books in those series. We'll just have to wait and see. So far, as of this recording, I have finished 4 books for these classes, 2 for each. So we're making progress. So far, I have read Class Act. This is part of a series, and this is actually the second book. I'm not sure why we skipped the first book for class, but I didn't want to do that. So I did read the first book, which is New Kid. Then I read Class Act. And then there is a third book, which is School Trip, which I did read. So I have read these 3, but only one of those was for class. Then I read A Cafecito Story, El Cuento del Cafecito. It was so quick, so I flew through that. After that, I read House of Many Gods. This was wonderful. I loved it. So good. Highly recommend. Then I read They Call Me Widow, A Border Kids Poems. This is also part of a series, and I'm reading the second book right now. This book is not for class, but it shouldn't take me very long because it's a collection of poems. This one is called They Call Her Frigona, A Border Kids Poems. So it shouldn't take me too long to finish up this one, and then I'll get back to reading the ones for class. The only other one of these books that is part of a series is Akata Witch. There are 2 more books that come after that, so we'll see if I get to them or not. We have Akata Warrior, and then we have Akata Woman. So we'll see if I get to these because these ones are a lot bigger than the other series, so I'm not sure if I will or not. We'll see. But I'll for sure be reading this one for class. So those are my plans. These are the ones that I've already finished, so be on the lookout for reviews for these. They will be coming soon. And also for Fregona, because I'll be finishing that one up soon as well. So I do plan to do reviews for each of these books that I finish. Because there are so many, these reviews will probably take me the rest of the year to get through. So you guys are going to be way behind what I'm actually reading. So I plan to still do updates for class. And when I do those updates for class, I will update you on what I've read, where I'm at with videos and all of that kind of thing. And then update you on what I'm actually reading since you'll be so far behind. But that's just the way I want to do it. I want to do individual reviews for each book because, I don't know, that's just the way I like to do things on this channel. Someone might be interested in reading the first book, might be contemplating reading the second book in a series, and I don't want to lump any standalones together, so that's just the way that I do it. If I read something, I'm going to review it. That's how I am. That's how this channel works. But that being said, I don't know if I'm going to post the reviews in the order that I read them. I might post them in a different order. I'm not really sure. I'll just have to wait and see. It'll just depend on timing and what I have time for, since those classes are going to be intense once they start. If I have some reviews that are shorter, I might do those first and then put off longer ones later. I don't know. We'll see. But they all will come eventually. Just be patient. Just be patient. We'll get there. That is all for me this week. If you guys have read any of these books, let me know what you thought. Let me know which ones you think I should start with, because right now I am reading these before the class actually starts. So yeah, just give me your recommendations and leave your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next Monday. Thanks for talking books with me.